Hello, my name is Delilah Cordova, Visibility Creator here at Omnipresence Studios. We expose the world to our interviewees' unique products, services, and books, and we also help in their journey to go from undiscoverable to visible in a digital world. I am currently on a mission to conduct 100 author interviews, and we're talking about all things books, from publishing to new authors, and don't forget marketing. I would like to welcome you to our show, Marketing and Coffee, where authors come to get inspired and experience. Hey authors, you finished your manuscript. What do you do next? If you would like to learn more about being featured on my show, go to marketingandcoffee.com. And without further ado, meet our next awesome author. All right. Hey everybody, it's Delilah Cordova here, and I am here again for another awesome author interview. I know it's been a couple weeks, but I had just opened up my calendar and I am starting to fill those spots for some great content from authors like majority of you. So if you're interested in participating in our live author interviews shows, you go to marketingandcoffee.com and apply. So today I have with me author Evan. Did I say Evans?
You did, yeah.
Mark Evans. His last name's Evan. Author Mark Evans, and he is the author of the Scarlet Hood book. Ooh. So let's go ahead and show him some love, give him some likes and some hearts. If you're just watching now, make sure you hashtag replay. And along the way, if you have questions for the author, make sure you leave them below and we will get to them as it comes appropriate. So, Mark, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them all about you and your awesome book.
G'day from Australia. Yeah, hello. My name's Mark C. Evans. I'm the author of this book, Scarlet Hood. Thank you very much for letting me talk on your show and giving me the opportunity to explain. I think this book, it's been released in the UK a few months ago and Australia this month, but it's also being released in the US. I was Googling it the other day and I saw it was on sale in Target in the US. I think tomorrow or the next day, might be the 4th, I'm not 100% sure, but it's available in all good bookstores. And it's I guess if I tell you the story, it's about a girl called Scarlet, obviously, and she's just moving around a lot with her family, and they've recently moved to Norway, and she doesn't know anyone there, and she's going to school, and she's being picked on because she's the outsider, the new kid in school. And this particular girl, Greta the Cruel, is her particular nemesis in this story. And every day she goes to school, she's being picked on by Greta the Cruel. And she goes to her grandmother's house one day, and she's very upset because she's been picked on all day. And her grandmother goes into the cupboard and pulls out a red hoodie. I guess a bit different from Red Riding Hood. It's the modern day version of a jumper, a hoodie with a zip, and says, if you put this on, it'll make you nice and warm and keep you safe. So she takes that to school the next day, and she's being attacked again by the bully, Greta, and she puts the hoodie over her face and just pulls it down tight to just block out the noise. And then everything goes silent and quiet and black, and then all of a sudden it flames and noises and screams, and there's a big roar, and she pulls back the hoodie, and she's in this strange village, and it's on fire, and there are all these people dressed, looks like Vikings, running around, and a Viking drags her under a building just in time as a big dragon comes thundering through the village. And this is when she sort of realizes that she's traveled back in time to the time of the Vikings. This red hood that she has, this hoodie, is a magical time-traveling hoodie. And the villagers think she's very strange, and so maybe she's been sent there by the gods, and they send her up the mountain to get rid of the dragon. And so the story tells of her going up to the top of the mountain to defeat the dragon, But I won't tell you any bit more about that because I think it'll spoil the story. But the basic overall arch of the story is about having resilience and also compassion. Compassion for even people who are picking on you, but compassion for people who might seem one way but are actually the other. So it's about understanding each other, and it's written in a graphic novel style. If I can show you some of the pages. Isabel Lundy was the illustrator. She did an amazing job, and you can see here it's black and white, but there are elements of color with the red hood there, and it's a graphic novel, sort of help those readers who are reluctant readers to take up the book and enjoy an adventure of Vikings and dragons and time travel and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's the book in a nutshell without giving away the ending. And hopefully, if it goes well, it might be a start of a series, but you have to see how the sales go with those sort of things.
You know what, Mark? I love the what you've done with the illustration, like the graphic novel idea. I love it. And I think it's a really great way to connect with young readers. Because my child, like my son, he didn't like to read, but he'll sit and he'll read through those anime comics and stuff like that. So that is awesome. I loved it. I like that. So yeah, I first off, I want to ask you is what inspired you to create this book?
What I read to my children every night, especially my little son Oliver. He's not so little, he's 8, but I've always read to him every night, and I go to the library and get book after book after book, and pretty much exhausted all the libraries around my area with picture books, and I just fell in love with the picture book and the whole creating a mood and creating other worlds with picture books. And so I thought I'd really like to give that a go and try and create a really nice picture book. And I wanted to have something sort of uplifting and also something to give a bit of hope to people who might be in that sort of situation where they're being bullied. But I wanted to take it a bit of a different way in that I wanted people to see, or the kids to maybe understand why someone might be bullying them. Yeah. And sometimes it's because their lives aren't that great. So without letting them accept that behavior, it might just make them understand the world a bit better if they know why that person's doing something other than just being bad or evil or something like that they understand. Yeah, it's a more reaction.
It's a really important message to get out these days, especially with how the world is going about and children, I mean, bullying has gone on for years and years and years, but of the recent days that we're in, it's just continuing to get worse. I know here in the United States that bullying is like a really big issue. And I believe it's just like you said, that it's all about what's going on in their lives that's crafting them or, developing them to be this way. And we have to start taking a deeper look or a closer look into how children's are and what's going on with them. So that's not always just because they're bullying you doesn't mean they're doing it on purpose or trying to, they might just be acting out and they need more support and more comfort, So
exactly. I mean, I don't want to get into the victim blaming thing or not taking the side of the poor person who's being bullied. Not at all, because I experienced that through school as well, and I think Scarlet Hood maybe was an attempt to tap into the person that I wish I could be towards my bullies.
Right.
Because maybe I can't do that or have that compassion for my bullies, but maybe another generation can. So if they're reading that book, they can learn that lesson of compassion, then I think they can only do better for the world.
Right.
Also, I want it to be fun and have fun. So it's full of dragons and Vikings and things like that. So making it fun. I really agree with you about the graphic novel thing. I remember going to school and our teachers would always tell us not to get out the comic books and not to read Asterix, which was always a very popular one for the kids to take from the library, and to get out a regular book. And the boys just wouldn't do that. So I just think it's a great way to encourage, particularly boys, but also girls. This is a female hero, to read and just to explore worlds. And it's a gateway book. That's what I like to call it, into literature.
Gateway book to reading. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is being a I haven't seen. I've seen graphic novels, but I haven't seen one as detailed as this one. And my question to you is how did you guys come together to create all the graphics in this book and the story? How did you put something like this together with an illustrator, right?
Oh, that was a weird thing. See, I've had two experiences with publishing books. My first book, Crazy Crab, which was released last year in the US, that was actually, we had an Australian illustrator, Steve Page, help me illustrate that. And we worked very closely together. I remember talking to him on Facebook and Messenger and back and forth with ideas. And it was very much a spitball kind of thing. And we workshop things and talk things back and forth. It was very collaborative, but I've since learned that's really probably not the way that it happens. The way that this book was made was more the traditional way, where I hand over a manuscript, and then in about 6 months to a year's time, I get the book delivered to my house. So there's really just that thing of you hand over your baby and hope that they do well with it. But Isabel, it was mainly her inspiration, the visual side of things. But I think the words, hopefully, if you've written good words, it paints the picture that you want. I think when you have trouble is when you don't paint the picture with your words enough, then the illustrator comes up with a completely different vision. And you go, whoa, where'd that come from? It's probably because your words weren't specific enough. But I know one testament to, I think I hit it right with this one is when I first visualized the book, I had in my head a picture of like Tim Burton sort of movie style thing of Edward Scissorhands kind of snowfield look. And just recently I was at a cafe and someone came up to me and said, "Oh, you're Mark Evans, you wrote that book." And she said, "It reminded me so much of a Tim Burton movie." And I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what I wanted." And she's come up and sort of validated that. And that's Isabel hitting the nail on the head with that illustration style.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's so y'all had a connection on the Tim Burton feel, eh?
Yeah, and so I'm just saying that now, so you know, Tim Burton, if you're watching this, it's adaptable. The rights are still available if you want to make that into a movie. I think all the people out there right now would like to see Scarlet Hood the movie. Yeah, so that's my subtle Tim. If anyone out there knows Tim, pass it on. We'll be good mates.
Beautiful. Yeah. I like it. Okay, so you got that, you got the illustrator. I didn't know that when you passed it on to the illustrator that they just developed the whole thing on their own after.
Yeah, that's very rare, dude. Very rare, unless you maybe someone really up there and you've got a lot of sway. Do you have a lot of say? I know sometimes you get a say over the cover, and I did actually have a little bit of say over the cover, but other than that, it's really it's in the illustrator and the publisher's hands once you hand over the manuscript. Similar way, I guess, to a writer who hands over a script to a filmmaker, and then they really very rarely have any say after that. They sign it over and go into the cinema and see their work, and hopefully it's what they had written. It's very similar.
Interesting.
You getting that homework done?
Sorry. Like I told you before, my kids come in. Come and say hello now. Who is it? I'm actually
Hi guys.
A live interview. Yes. Excuse me.
More the merrier. That's fine. I just want to see the weird guy from Australia with a hat.
Can you please close?
We all dress like this down here. Yeah, this is how we get around.
So yeah, to continue on, I do apologize.
That's all right.
So how did publishing your first book change your writing process?
Oh, that's a good question. I think maybe. Actually, no. I wrote this book first, and but Crazy Crab got published first. What happened was I sent this off to many publishers, and the other thing is it takes, as many of your writers out there know, it can take 6 to 8 months sometimes to hear back from a publisher. So I had a few knockbacks and thinking, oh well, I'll go back to the drawing board and write another book, and I wrote Crazy Crab, and that got picked up within about a month. But this book got picked up in the same week. I got the emails for the 2 books, and but I remember thinking with Crazy Crab, I'm going to just have a lot more fun. This was a real I worked for probably a year on this. Whereas Crazy Crab, I just had so much sort of fun just pouring out, and I thought, oh, I'll just get back in touch with having fun with the writing and enjoying it, and then hopefully that comes out in the writing. I think maybe that's been now my formula to how I get creative, to just have fun. Yeah.
Nice. All right, so I want to get a little bit deeper into you as the author, and I want to know more about you and your awesome author life.
Yes, so awesome.
When did you get started writing?
Well, with picture books, only about 2 years ago. I started 2 years ago, and I just started. I would go to the library in between my job work time, and I just love being around all the books and the people in the library. So bring on the creative gods, and yeah, so started doing that, and so got the 2 books came out roughly the same time, or got accepted roughly at the same time, and I took Crazy Crab to the US and went to the Orange County Children's Book Festival and launched it there. And then for this one, I went to to Italy, to the Bologna Children's Book Fair, and we launched that at the book fair, which was pretty amazing. If you've ever been to the Bologna Book Fair, it's mad. It's just the biggest conference of books all around the world, and it was like the Olympics for children's books. It was just fantastic to go and experience that. So
I bet.
Was my rock star moment as an author. But I still have a day job. I actually take photos of houses. I'm a photographer, and sort of carving my career out as a writer as well.
That's awesome. So you're by day you're a real estate photographer. By night, you are a book writer. Yeah. Like a double persona. Did you get it? No. So, yeah. Kelly had came along and she says, Mark, have you self-published any of your works, your books?
No. I did when I was sending out manuscripts. I did get approached by a couple of vanity publishers and was kind of warned off them. I think I just wanted to try with a regular publisher because I don't have the networks, I believe, to make it successful self-publishing. I think you can. Like, there are people out there I know who do really, really well, but they have really big social networks. Yeah. And so that's their distribution. And why wouldn't you? I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're keeping 100% of the profits. But if you don't have those networks, then you're really going to struggle to get it out into the bookstores. I did talk to a bookstore owner, and she said that she doesn't stock self-published mainly because she's worried about the quality. Often they don't get the same editing standards sort of go through the book, and it does show, or maybe the quality of the printing. It's still a bit of a stigma, but it's improving all the time, because I know social media has helped heaps to get your product out there.
Right, and those are really valuable concerns for bookstore owners, because as a marketer, and I have clients that come to me. Sometimes I have to look at their work first to make sure it's something that I want to promote and that it is of quality. Because when you look at it, like I had one book come through and I had to refer them to a publisher to help them get it all put together the way it's supposed to be, because it wasn't pretty at all. And you guys have to, if it's not getting professionally edited, if it's not put together like it's supposed to be, then it makes it really hard to sell. So I understand.
And there's things that you miss. Like, I remember the editor looking over and go, "Oh, this comma here or this bit there," and I had no idea that was an issue. So it's just good to get someone who's at that next level of editing. And I did have my manuscripts taken to editors to look at, but even then, the publishing editing level it's another thing. So I can see why some bookstores are hesitant. Yeah.
So that's good though. You took the initiative, got a publisher, and that's important to put into perspective is your network. It is possible to go and self-publish your book and not have a network and be successful though, you guys. So don't let that discourage you. If you're not able to connect with a great publisher, or you don't have money to pay a publisher, do not stop creating just because of that. You can self-publish and then later on get on with the publisher if you want to. So keep that in mind. Next question.
Yes.
I like this one. If you could tell I gotta come over this way. If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would it be?
It'd be the same thing that actually I think I would have told. See, I had a background in acting and theatre, and I think just to go for it, not to be afraid, and to just try and don't be afraid of failure. Because I think when I go to my writers group, I'm a member of a writers group with children's books. I notice a lot of the guys there, they've been writing their manuscript for maybe 5 years. And I said, "Well, have you sent it off?" And they go, "Oh, no, it's not ready yet." And I go, "Well, just send it out and people will tell you what's wrong with it and then you can fix it." But I just think you've got to go out there and make your mistakes and fall over rather than waiting for it to be perfect. Because I don't think that
drives me nuts. I hate when people they have, my daughter, for example, she loves to draw and create and she's really, really good. But I'm like, okay, so let's upload the artwork and make your website and showcase it a little bit, and do some different things with it. And, she holds back. It's like, it's not ready. I can't have people look at it. It's like, no, you got to be pushed over a ledge and do it. Because the more you hold back, the more time you're keeping yourself from progression sometimes,
And you're comparing yourself to someone who is, when you're looking at the books around you or looking at the artwork around you, and you're looking at the greats, obviously, for inspiration. I mean, they've spent 20, 30 years honing their craft and they've made all the mistakes that you're yet to make. So that's why they are so good. It's not that they've got this incredible, unbelievable natural talent. It's just they've worked really, really hard and made lots of mistakes and learned from it. So that's kind of what I've just gone and done. I've gone head on into it and written my manuscript, sent it out, felt like massive amount of rejections, but you just take it on the chin and thought, I'll learn from it. And I've learned from everyone that I've sent off, and I've also hopefully each book gets progressively better and you learn from those mistakes. You also learn to know what the publishers are looking for, I think, too, to some degree, although I don't let that dictate. In fact, my latest book that I'm working on, I have no idea if any publisher is ever going to touch it. I've got an agent for it, and I don't know why. It's amazing he's taken it on. It's great, but it's pretty out there.
Yeah. Awesomeness. So I have one question, then we got to wrap up here. Mm-hmm. Well, actually 2 questions. And then, but what does literary success look like to you?
Where for me, it's quitting my day job, knowing that I can just do this. I love going around to schools and festivals and seeing people that you've touched or reached. When I went to America, I had my book had only been out a couple of months, but I had a kindergarten teacher come and see me to get her book signed because she'd been reading it to her class, and this is on the other side of the world, and she had brought little Crazy Crabs into her class, and she was teaching classes with Crazy Crabs, and I'd never met her, never heard of her, and it was just amazing that you could reach someone on the other side of the world with your writing. And I think it's just brilliant if you can make it a positive thing, affect the world in that way. That's, to me, is awesome. So if I can do that full time, for me, it's not selling millions and millions of copies. That's great, but it's about just being able to be free to do it all the time and meet all the people who read the book. That'd be fantastic.
Nice. Awesomeness. So, Mark, I want you to go ahead and tell everybody how they can connect with you. I put your website down below here, mark-c-evans.com. But how else can everybody get in contact with you?
There's definitely forms there that you can fill out and get in contact, or if you've read the book and you want to write something. I had someone from a marine aquarium in the US ask me to come and talk because I often wear a big Crazy Crab outfit. So you can get in touch with me that way. I've got Facebook pages, one for Scarlet Hood. So if you were to Facebook page, Scarlet Hood has its own page, Crazy Crab has its own page, and I have my own page, which is Mark C. Evans. So you can find me on those Facebook pages as well. But I'm very contactable. I always respond to messages as fast as I can because I just like to be approachable like that. But also I know what it's like to reach out and wait for ages for someone to respond back. So yeah, that's part of the fun, is getting the feedback and communicating with everyone.
Beautiful. Well, Mark, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I know that there's more questions in the feed here, but Mark, I'm going to give you the link. You can come back and you can answer all those questions for everybody who is here. Okay. I have another author interview we got to go on, but I want to thank you again for coming on. It's so delightful to meet you. And you guys, go get the book, Scarlet Hood. He's got it. Oh, this way. He's got it right there for y'all.
Yep.
There it is.
It's available at Target, Barnes and Nobles, all those places. So yeah, go buy it.
Awesome.
Great. And I'll sign it if I'm at a festival anywhere in America, which I try to do. I'll make sure I sign it for you. So yeah.
Nice. Great. You better send me a copy.
Yes.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you all for coming on. If you watched all the way through, make sure you say hashtag I supported the author all the way through. That's a long hashtag.
Thank you.
Always support your authors and leave book reviews. All right, you guys, we are signing out. One moment. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to receive our notifications.